Well, our friend Jim Bovard reports on Antiwarradio.com today, or suggests that he heard from somebody inside the campaign that he said, and here are his words, that Ron Paul is now focusing primarily on negotiating with the Republican National Committee to get a good speaking slot at the Republican convention in September. So help me, I don't think anybody gave any money so that you could get a speech at 2 a.m.
No, and Jim is a real good friend. I mean, and a close ally. And philosophically, we're together on this. And I don't know where he got his information, because there will be no negotiations. And if they called me up and said, "You want to speak at the convention?" I'd probably say yes. But no, there's been a few inquiries, and they say there's zero chance of that happening. So there's no negotiations going on, and nothing. Matter of fact, some of our people feel like by going, we give them too much credibility. They could, even if there wasn't an endorsement, I've said publicly I can't endorse McCain because he supports the war and all this spending. And he said that maybe if we went, we would give them credibility and make it look like, this is a token endorsement for McCain. So I'm not so sure we would gain even if I did go, but I think I would. If they called up and said, "Would you like 5 minutes?" But I think we're going to have if we're going to have an impact, it's going to be on our terms. It'll be the showing up and a grand rally that we have, which is not going to be a demonstration against what they're doing. It's not going to be a march. It's not trying to barge in. It's not trying to close anything down. Nothing like that, other than an expression of our viewpoints, and why we think the Republican Party should have a different platform.
All right. I get emails every day and phone calls as well, suggesting that candidate so-and-so in party thus and such is the true heir to the Ron Paul revolution, that you have winked at them and secretly whispered in their ear, "Go get them, you have my blessings." And I've heard it from a couple of places with respect to a couple of different candidates, and I wonder if you can comment on that. I mean, the Libertarian Party met this week and nominated Bob Barr. Is he your guy?
Well, he's a friend, and he's called me. He's never asked me for an endorsement. He's never been specific. I knew and have been friends with Mary Rohrt. She didn't win. Chuck Baldwin worked very hard in my campaign, and he's with the Constitutional Party, and I have not endorsed anybody, and I can't see myself picking one over the other right now. So no, there's been no endorsement, no heir apparent, and I don't believe much in that anyway. I think our kind of people are pretty independent-minded. Some are going to work real hard in the Republican Party, and some are going to work real hard in the Libertarian Party, the Constitutional Party, and some might just go back to educational activities. And I think that's fine. I just don't believe in this top-down control of people. So the answer is no, I have not endorsed anybody, and it doesn't look like I'm likely to.
Well, who would you vote for president in November?
Well, I don't know, but I know that I can't vote for McCain, and I've said that. So right now, the two people who are closest to me are Chuck Baldwin and also Bob Barr, philosophically and friendship-wise, but I haven't, endorsed one over the other.
Yeah. The other kind of issues that are important to me, besides the prospect of war with Iran that we've talked about, what is the future of the war with Iraq? I mean, you're a member of Congress. You can assess the temperature of the people that closed their eyes and tapped their heels together and wished real hard that they were right about the war and have been proven wrong. I mean, is there a reassessment going on now? Can we end this damn thing?
Not so. You would have thought it would have happened after 2006 when the election was about the war and the Republicans were thrown out, but there was no real effort to change anything. There's a group of us in the Republican Party, slightly growing in numbers slightly. There's a bigger group in the Democratic Party that significantly opposed the war, will vote against all the funding, but we're probably only 10 or 20% of the whole Congress. Everybody else is skittish and is scared to death that if they vote against the funding of the war, then they're unpatriotic and un-American. And they've accused me of that all the time, so that's why I was so pleased that our campaign got more money than all the rest of the candidates put together from the military. But no, I don't see any serious movement. The president just asked once again, off-budget type of funding, doesn't fit the budget resolution of $107 billion. Did the Democrats do much to stop it? No, not really. They added $40 billion of military spending to extend it, not only 1 year, for about 16 months. And then they went and tacked on a lot of domestic pork onto that bill. That bill hasn't yet been passed, but it's up to like $187 billion. So there's no serious effort to cut spending, no serious effort to really curtail the spending in Iraq. So right now, we're in there for the foreseeable future.
What is the future of the United States economy? Well, let's more specifically right now. Let's start with the dollar. What is the future of the dollar look like to you, Congressman?
Well, short term, I don't like to make predictions because I don't think anything ever goes straight down or straight up. It's been going down straight down for a while. And so I could see the dollar rallying for a while, and if the traders, might trade on this. But if you look at what the dollar has done since the breakdown of the Bretton Woods since 1971, it is down a lot, even though there had been like 4 and 5, 6 year periods when it would go up. But I think we're in the worst shape ever. The world's losing confidence in us, losing confidence in our economy, as well as our military, and the only thing that's been holding our dollar up as a reserve currency is the confidence, because we've been so powerful. So we're at a very dangerous point where that confidence may change, and if they start rejecting the dollar, which to some degree they already have, this thing could really, really unravel. And you mentioned about the possibility of Iran being bombed. That might be a precipitating factor, because it might double the price of oil overnight. And that would really play havoc with us, which means that sustaining the income to our retired people will be impossible. Right now we're failing because we give 2 or 3% increases in cost of living for Social Security recipients, and their inflation rate is really over 10%. So they're losing ground, as so many Americans are. So I don't think that we can know what the next week or 2 or 3 will do. But if in 2 or 3 or 4 years from now, you can be sure oil is going to be a lot higher, gold prices are going to be a lot higher, inflation rates are going to be a lot higher, and our economy is going to be a lot weaker, and the American people are going to be a lot more unhappy than they are today.
Our old friend on this show, investor Jim Rogers, longtime contributor to the Charles Goyette Show, gave an interview to one of the British TV outlets the other day. He said that the performance has been so dismal that I believe that in 10 years there will be no American central bank, the Federal Reserve. We pray that he's right. If they've been that badly discredited, we get the kind of economic payoff from their behavior that we are beginning to experience. And you'll be vindicated too in your call to focus on the central bank, which, by the way, one of the most surprising things of your campaign is the way people have resonated with that.
Wow, that has really pleased me and surprised me that college kids are very interested. That gets one of the loudest applause now on college campuses when I go after the Fed. Now, Jim Rogers is a great investor as well as an Austrian economist, and I don't know what his conditions are for getting rid of the Fed. My guess is that it'll probably just disappear because it won't function very well anymore. But, my idea is getting rid of the Fed, at least allowing honest competition against it, allow us to use gold and silver as legal tender and phase it in and out. But that's not likely to happen. They're not going to let us do that. But, yes, I think our foreign policy is going to come our way, too, but not because we're going to get wise men in Washington soon. It's going to be because we no longer can afford it. And maybe that's what he has in mind. But, the world markets are, and the marketplace is pretty powerful. And maybe by then we will figure out how to operate without these central banks because they certainly cause a lot of mischief.
Congressman Ron Paul, presidential candidate Ron Paul, the new book, buy it today. It's The Revolution, a Manifesto. Last question. How about a big event to kind of cap off this whole campaign and the revolution? Have anything in mind?
Yeah, and it'll be in Minneapolis, the week of the big convention. I think it's on Tuesday of that week, and we'll be sending out more information on that. But we want that to be the big one, and that should be the rallying cry, not only for what we have done in the past year, but how we're going to continue to do it after that.
All right. Congressman, always good to talk to you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for, I know it wasn't easy running this race, and for all you've done and your family's contribution as well.
Thank you, Charles.
Yeah. Congressman Ron Paul on the show this morning. I'm Charles Goyette. It's KFNX News Talk Radio, 1100.
For Anti-War Radio on antiwar.com, I'm Charles Goyette.